Okay, this is test number 13 from lesson 1.1 through 5.1 study guide. First thing you need to do is ask you to graph 5x plus 3y equals 15. You need to get that into from standard form into slope-intercept form to where you can see what the slope and the y-intercept is. Remember your slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. In order to do that, we need to get y by itself, so we need to move everything that's not y to the other side of the equal sign. In this case, it happens to be 5x. That's positive 5x or plus 5x. In order to undo that, you subtract 5x. When you do that, that'll cancel out. If you subtract 5x on the left, you have to subtract 5x on the right. That doesn't give you 10x. That's not like terms. What we have left over here is 3y equals, we'll put our x term first to put our, where it'll be mx, negative 5x, and then positive 15. Still don't have y by itself. We have to get rid of 3 times y. In order to undo 3 times something you divide by 3, that'll cancel out and leave you with just y. That's what we were looking for. If you divide the left by 3, you got to divide the right by 3. We can do it by both terms. Y equals negative 5 over 3x plus 15 divided by 3 is plus 5. Now what we have is we have mx plus b, where m is our slope and b is our y-intercept. B tells you to where to begin when you're talking about, it tells you where to start when you're talking about graphing. So we need to start at the number 5. So we need to go one more. On your y-axis, this is your y-axis. Remember, it looks like a capital Y. So count up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is where you put your first point. That's where B tells you where to begin. And your slope is negative 5 over 3. That tells you your directions, or M tells you where to move. You go down 5 and you go to the right 3 times. Had it been positive, you'd have went up 5. Had it been negative on the bottom, you'd have went to the left, but it's not. So we go down 5 from where we are now. So down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and to the right 1, 2, 3 times. That's where your second point goes right there. Now that you have 2 points, best you can draw yourself a straight line through those. A little better than I did on this screen. Number 2, we're matching the ordered pairs to the function maps. A couple people are asking questions about this because more than one looked true. The easiest way to do this one is to label them XY, XY, the way you can see them, or just mentally label that first one is X and the second one's Y. Then in your function map, just list them, -3, -1, 5, 8. I just took all of the X values and I put them as what would be the domain. Then all of the Y values, notice they're all -6. They're all -6. That's the same thing. You don't need to repeat anything. So it'd be -6 there. Each of them, each of your X values points to -6 because that's how they're related. Every time you plug in -3, you're going to get -6. Every time you plug in -1, you're going to get -6, 5, -6, and 8, -6. And then look at your X values and your Y values. Just looking at your X values, each one of those only has one arrow a piece leaving it, and it is a function. It is a function. So the only one this matches, this was one of the only multiple choices you had. The only one this matches was B for number 2. Number 3 was very similar, x, y, x, y, x, y. When you do your function mapping, you'd have -8, -5, and 7. Notice -8 is represented twice. You don't have to write it twice, but watch what's going to happen when we do it. Our y-axis, though, is -6, 2, 1, 3. -6, 2, 1, 3. And then when we show how every time when you plug in -8, you're going to get -6. And also when you plug in -8, you're going to get 1. Okay, and I know my order is a little bit different, but watch and see what happens. When you plug in -5, you get 2, and then when you plug in 7, you get 3. So other than the fact that I have 2 and 1 out of order, it matches what it looks like on your page. But this is still your X axis values. This is still your Y values. And since 8 has 2 arrows leaving it from your inputs, it is not a function. It's not a function. So the only one that this matches is D for number 3. Number 4 asks you to find the slope. Remember, slope asks you how many times you either go up or down over how many times you go to the right or to the left. If it goes up, it'd be positive. Down, it'd be negative. If it goes left, it would be negative. To the right, it would be positive. From the point that is the y-intercept as you're looking at it, you need to go down 1 time, 2 times. Down twice would be minus or -2. To the right 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. To the right is 3 times. So your slope, make sure it's simplified. There's no number that goes into negative 2 or 3. So your slope is negative 2/3. Number 5 asks you to find the slope of this one. They actually highlight. Oh, no, they don't. This one was kind of tough to see on the copy. You can easily find the y-intercept. The y-intercept's at 1. And then this was the next easiest one I thought to be able to find. I know it's a little light on the copy, but it's still how many times you go up and down over how many times you go left or right, just like number 4 was. You go up 1 time, 2 times. So since we're up, it's positive 2. And to the right 1 time over 1. That simplifies. You don't need a right 2 of 1. That simplifies to just 2. Number 6 asks you to find the slope. This time you don't have a picture to look at to count. So xy, sub 1, sub 2. Plug them into your slope formula. M equals the change of y over the change of x. This won't be available for you on Friday tomorrow. You need to make sure you know that formula. Y sub 2 is this one here. 3 minus y sub 1 as I have it listed. And again, you could have done it backwards. 3 minus 7 over x sub 2 is 8 minus x sub 1 is 3. 3 minus 7 is negative 4. And 8 minus 3 is positive 5. There's no number that goes into both negative 4 and positive 5. So negative 4/5. Number 7, same thing. X sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2, plug them into your formula. Y sub 2 is negative 16.8 minus, now it's minus a negative. Don't forget that. That's a part a lot of people make mistakes on. Minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Anytime you have minus a negative, it turns into plus, or plus a positive. Negative 16.8 plus 8.8 leaves you with negative 8. Over 11.7 minus 7.7 is 4. Negative 8 divided by 4 is negative 2 for your slope. Number 8, is it 0 or undefined? You can plug in points to be able to determine it. The easiest way, it makes capital Z. You can plug in points for number 9 as well. The easiest way, you can write no slope, which is undefined. Number 10, find the slope and the y-intercept. Y equals mx plus b. M is what's multiplying by x. In this case, it's 1/2. Plus b is negative 7. Make sure you include the negative, or it'd be positive if it was positive. So your slope is 1/2, and your y-intercept is negative 7. Number 11, this one is in standard form. You need to change it into slope-intercept form to where you can see the slope and the y-intercept. So y equals mx plus b. Move everything that's not y to the other side. That's positive 2x, so subtract it. Do the same thing on this side to get rid of this. We have these will cancel out. 2y equals negative 2x, negative 14 or minus 14. Get rid of 2 times something by dividing by 2 and leaves you with just y. That's what you were looking for. Divide that by 2 and that by 2. So negative 2 divided by positive 2 is negative 1x, and negative 14 divided by 2 is negative 7 or minus 7. So y equals mx plus b, where m is multiplying by x and b is what follows it. B is negative 7, m is negative 1. Number 12, write the equation given slope and y-intercept. Y equals mx plus b, slope-intercept form. Leave it as y, leave equals, and leave x. All you're doing is plugging in m and plugging in b. M's value goes right there, negative 3. B's value goes right there, negative 9. Y equals negative 3x minus 9. Number 13, you're doing likewise. Y equals mx plus b. Leave y, leave equals, leave x, plug in m and plug in b. M's value goes right there, 3/4. B's value goes right there, 3/2. Y equals 3/4 x, positive or plus 3/2. So make sure we got that on that one. Yeah, minus 9. The negatives are easier to see since you include them. Make sure it's not right next to the x. It has to be plus 3/2 for that one, or plus 3/2. Number 14 says write the slope-intercept formula line y equals mx plus b. It's called slope-intercept because it shows two things. It shows a slope and it shows an intercept. More specifically, it shows a y-intercept. That's the easiest one to pick out. That's this value here. That's your b value. B equals -1. So you're going to need that. You're also going to need a slope value, m. We need to determine what the slope value is. In order to do that, go ahead and count. Start here. Count up 1, 2, 3. So since we went up 3, it's +3. And we go to the right 1, 2, 3, 4 times. To the right 4 times. So +4. So your m value is 3/4. Now that you have b and you have m, y equals, just like we did a second ago, y equals something times x plus b, or mx plus b. Plug in m right there, 3/4, and plug in b right there, -1. Y equals 3/4 x minus 1. Okay, for number 15, still we're using y equals mx plus b form. Well, that's the slope-intercept form. The easiest thing usually to find is this, the y-intercept. Remember where it crosses through the y-axis. You have to estimate a little bit on this one, especially since it's a little light on the copy. It looks like it's about at 1/2. B is equal to 1/2. But you can find your slope based on the 2 points that are highlighted for you. Go to the leftmost one, find out how many times you have to go down. You have to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Down 5 would be -5 over 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right 4 times is your slope. So you have your b and you have your m. You can write your equation y equals mx plus b. Leave y, leave equals, and leave x, and we're just plugging in m. Its value is -5/4, and b's value is a +1/2, so +1/2. Y equals mx plus b. Y equals -5/4x plus 1/2. Number 16, use a slope and y-intercept to graph y equals -4/3x minus 1. It's in y equals mx plus b form, so m's value is -4/3, b's value is -1. B tells you where to start, or B tells you where to begin. Your y-axis tells you to begin at -1. Slope is -4/3, tells you to go up or down. The first number's negative, so it tells you to go down. The bottom number's positive, tells you to go to the right. So from -1, where you begin, go down 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and to the right 1, 2, 3 times for your second point. Once you have your second point, do your best to draw a straight line through them. Better than I can on this screen. But 17 says find the x and the y intercepts. In order to find your x-intercept, you plug in 0 in place of y. So 2x plus 3 times 0 equals -18. In order to find your y-intercept, you plug in 0 in place of x. So 2 times 0 plus 3y equals -18. Anything times 0 is going to be 0, which is going to eliminate this part. So 2x equals -18. To get x by itself, divide by 2. Since it says 2 times x, do the same thing to that side. X equals -18 divided by 2 is -9. That's your x-intercept. In order to find your y-intercept, same thing. You're plugging in 0 in place of x. 2 times 0 would be 0, which would cancel this out. We'll leave you with +3y equals -18, or 3 times y. In order to undo, multiply by 3, divide by 3. If you do it on the left, do it on the right. Y equals -18 divided by 3 is -6. Your y-intercept would be -6. Number 18 says 3x minus y equals 27. Again, plug in 0 in place of your y to do your x-intercept. So 3x minus 0 would be 3x equals 27. Divide by 3 on both sides, and x-intercept would be 9. To find your y-intercept, it'd be 3 times 0, which would cancel that part out, so you'd leave you with -y equals 27, or -1 times y. In order to undo that divide by -1, you do it on the left, you got to do it on the right, and y divided by 27 divided by -1 is y equals -27. So your x-intercept is 9, your y-intercept is -27.